I didn't ever assume that I'd make a video on this, so I wasn't ever planning on releasing a review for Doctor Sleep. I never saw the original Shining until quite recently, and that's why I didn't go see the movie in theaters or talk about it on my channel. And I was surprised that I got around to seeing the movie. Then what happened was a bunch of people that I write with over the Seth Pop website have been hyping up Doctor Sleep in the conversation, and I was like, I want to see Doctor Sleep. I was like, I obviously am not going to do this without watching The Shining. So I watched The Shining. I thought it was fine. I don't hate this movie at all. I really liked it. Like, I did. I just don't love it as much as everybody else did because I didn't grow up with it. And, you know, not The Shining. Doctor Sleep is here. It's directed by Mike Flanagan. He did Oculus, which is a movie that I really liked. It introduced me to one of my favorite actresses of all time, Karen Gillan. He also did a movie called Gerald's Game that I really liked. If you are familiar with what this movie is, it's basically a sequel to The Shining, which was released almost 40 years ago. I think it was 40 years ago. Holy shit, that's awesome. And it was directed by Stanley Kubrick, and it's weird that they decided to basically make this a sequel to The Shining, because if you know anything about that movie, Stephen King, the writer of the book The Shining, was not a fan of the Shining movie made by Stanley Kubrick. So it's really weird for them to, you know, while Stephen King is alive, to just go ahead and make a sequel like this. But I really loved this movie. I did. I don't think it's amazing. Like, it's not a 10 out of 10 for me, but I fucking loved it. I watched the director's cut. I'm always going to choose the director's cut over the theatrical cut if I ever have the option. And I really enjoyed this. I don't know what's different, but if I had to bet money on one thing, there is a scene in this movie. It's very early on, and it almost, like, there's a little bit of it, but I felt like it was kind of extended for the director's cut. That's the only thing that I could see them cutting, and of course, you could cut, like, a lot. But, I mean, there is some stuff I was like, yeah, this feels like if it was in theaters, this scene would be shorter. And it's where so-and-so recruits somebody, but that's aside. Ewan McGregor, I think I'm saying that right after all these years, you know, Obi-Wan Kenobi himself is Danny Torrance. He's all grown up after the events of The Shining. I believe he's like in his mid-30s now. He's kind of hit rock bottom a little bit, and he's a, you know, recovering alcoholic, and he comes in contact with this little girl who also has The Shining like he did. Well, he still kind of does. And I don't want to give too much away because I just really want people to go watch this movie. I don't know how many views a video like this is going to get, because my channel just kind of does whatever the fuck it wants to do nowadays. You get videos that blow up, and then you get videos that just, like, 5 views. Like, so if I can, you know, get one person to watch this movie, I really hope they do. And we also have Rebecca Ferguson playing this character who's kind of like the leader of this crew that feeds on people who have The Shining. And it's a very interesting aspect there because we spend some time with her character and her crew, and I wasn't expecting that going into this movie, and I really appreciated that because this movie doesn't technically feel all that much like a horror movie. It has a lot of horror movie elements, but it kind of feels like both sides. Like, there's not a definitive hero, I would say. I guess you could say, like, kind of the Danny storyline is a hero storyline. And we clearly do have villains. But we spend enough time with each of them that they're both scared at the end of the day. And I really loved that. The direction here is just beautiful. There's something about the way that this movie is shot that's just very appealing to my eyes. The little girl actress in this movie, I was like, I don't know if this is gonna work at like the first hour. And then luckily my brain shifted and I thought she was really damn good, especially by the end. I think she was great. I'm glad that I didn't see her as just this whole, oh, we gotta put a new character in there for the audience's perspective, for people who haven't seen The Shining, and I'm glad that it worked out amazingly. There are some really cool choices in this movie that tie in back to The Shining. There's a little bit of some follow-up scenes to what happened after The Shining with Danny and his mother, and they have like a kid actor who looks not exactly, but almost exactly like the kid actor from the original Shining, and a woman who kind of looks like Shelley Duvall as the mother. And these scenes are really good. They're only just a little bit at the beginning, but I really appreciated them and how they kind of just felt like they were just ripped out of what an original sequel from Stanley Kubrick would have been. It felt like that. There's also another character in this movie that shows up that looks like a character from that movie, but he's not, and they didn't use CGI for this character. They just used a whole new actor who felt like he was doing an impression. This is nothing on the guy. It's just like, I don't see why you just wouldn't use CGI in an age where we can have, perfect Robert Downey Jr. in 2016. I'm not sure why 3 years later in 2019 we can't get something as good as, Not much else I want to say about in this review. It's all spoiler free. I just really hope that people go check this out. I also believe that I don't know. Shit. Also, if you haven't seen The Shining, I'd say at least if you're not familiar with the movie and the plot points that go on in that movie, then go check it out. But if you are, you'll be fine, like me. I don't think that I needed to watch The Shining because I follow so much that has to do with filmmaking and YouTubers that, talk about filmmaking, that I just kind of knew what was going to happen going into that movie. Still had a good time. It's just, if you just want to check out this movie, you don't need to see the original. But what I grew up with was the Halloween Treehouse of Horror episode of The Simpsons. I was actually raised on The Simpsons, and it's weird. As much as my parents, when I was very young, hated me watching Family Guy, they didn't care for The Simpsons. And I, from the age of 3, I remember that Treehouse of Horror episode. And I rewatched it the other day. It's probably my favorite Treehouse of Horror spoof that they've ever done. So, yeah, I'm gonna give Dr. Sleep an A-. I really loved this movie. I can't wait to rewatch it again. I'll admit, the director's cut being 3 hours long can look a little unappealing. If that doesn't seem like your thing, maybe just do the regular cut, which is 2.5 hours. But I really enjoyed this movie. Yeah. Just wanted to do a quick video on it because I don't do many reviews like this anymore. Yeah. The next video that I'm working on, that I at least think that I'm going to put out, I haven't even begun what I call production on it. I'm really excited to do it. It's about a movie series that came out a few years ago that's tied to another beloved movie series. And I'm really excited to tackle it from an outsider's perspective who's never seen these sort of movies. So, I don't know. If it comes out, it comes out. If not, I'm sorry that I gave you this anticipation. So, but yeah, I just wanted to go ahead and do a video like this. If you like the video and you want to see more of my opinions, go check out the channel. I would usually say subscribe, but I feel like that's weird. So here's what I say. Go check out some of my other videos, and if you like what I do, then choose if you want to subscribe. I don't feel like this is the perfect video for me to subscribe or don't, because not all my content's going to be like this, so whatever. Have a good day, and goodbye.